Great. It's going. And now can we read that? Mostly. Sort of. Cool. Uh-oh. I gotta make sure I can see myself. Where do I stand? I'm gonna have to crouch a little bit, aren't I?
Do you want me to like sit here?
Yeah, I want you to sit there. That's perfect. Right there. Perfect. I'll ask you questions about like things that you like, and on the first one you can be like when we talk about utopias,
Yeah.
and you can talk about how you like Nebraska and Harry Potter and whatever else you like.
Perfect.
I'm gonna use a push-up example. So I'm gonna ask you how many push-ups you did today, and you can say 100, and then later we'll talk about like I don't know how to work that in. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna do that. We'll see.
We'll figure it out. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I love it.
It'll be great.
All right. Welcome to class, everyone. Sorry that I'm awkwardly crouching like this. I am still wearing my Harry Potter robe, but I want you to be able to see things. I hope you can sort of see it. If not, feel free to follow along because this handout is linked on Moodle and you should and will need to look at it a lot. Today, we're going to start talking about utopias and dystopias. You probably are familiar with those if you have read The Hunger Games before. That is one of the really, really famous examples of dystopian books and novels. We are going to read one called Fahrenheit 451 pretty close here, but I want to talk first about what makes a book dystopian. We're going to circle back to this a lot, so this is an important lesson for you to know. First, let's talk about the opposite of a dystopia. A utopia is, I hope you can read this, a place, state, or condition that is ideally perfect in respect to politics, laws, customs, and conditions. So a utopia is a world that is perfect. So we're going to start and say we live in a utopia right now. This is Reed. He lives in a utopia. Reed, what do you love to do in your life?
Ooh, just read Harry Potter every single day.
Smart boy.
Watch The Office. Eat watermelon.
Oh, man.
Perfect utopia.
Life is perfect for him. As you can see, he's also dressed perfectly. He's got this hat, which tells us that he loves hats and individuality.
Yes.
He's also wearing a really beautiful Zahn Construction sweatshirt. This lesson is sponsored by Zahn Construction. So that, though, is not what we're talking about. Your first project, which you will see on Moodle, check it out, is going to be you're going to try to create a utopia. So you heard Reese say that his utopia would be watermelon and Harry Potter all the time, wearing whatever he wants, doing whatever he wants. That's perfect. Life would be perfect. Unfortunately, people are kind of the worst. You guys are the best, but other people are the worst, and sometimes utopias get ruined. And so now we are going to talk about dystopias. And this is where we're going to trade. You're going to move.
Okay,
so
cool.
You're going to be in the same spot, but
Perfect.
take that off and
There's
put
going
this
to be a
on.
slight movement, but that's going to be okay.
No, it's going to be perfect.
Also, this is a super comfy sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's nice. Should I just like that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Alright, cool. Close enough, right?
Yeah, whatever. This is a dystopia. As you can see, everything has changed for Reese. Look how sad he looks. Look how ugly the shirt is that he's wearing that I got from my dad's closet. I'm trying to also send a message. In a dystopia, things are not perfect. Things are, in fact, as we see right here, oppressive societal control, the illusion of a perfect society. So as you can see, I am still wearing whatever I want. That's because right now I have the power. Oftentimes in dystopias, you have a group that has power and a group that doesn't. A group that can do whatever they want and who force upon other people their own terrible ideas. Think Hunger Games. Think Divergent. There will be some sort of control, somebody in charge, and life is terrible for everyone else. Are you happy right now?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So here are some things that make a dystopian society dystopian. 1, propaganda is used to control the citizens. So there might be signs around that say things like, your life is better because Brie Wimmer is in charge of you. It's not true, but the sign still might say that. Information, independent thought, and freedom are restricted. Reese, can you get up out of that chair?
Nope.
Why not? Because
You just can't.
because
Just
I said so. Because I'm in charge and he can't. A figurehead or a concept is worshipped by the citizens of the society. Here's what I mean by concept. In this really incredible example I'm giving you right now, Reese is wearing the most boring shirt. Reed is wearing the most boring shirt I could find. Because sometimes in dystopias, you will see the idea that sameness is a good thing. And so he's wearing this really boring, ugly shirt. And if I had other people to be in my dystopia, they would also be wearing those really boring, ugly shirts. Because the concept that my dystopia is worshiping is the idea that sameness is good. We, as rational people, know that sameness and equality are not actually the same thing, and everyone dressing the same or appearing to be the same is in fact boring and terrible and limits people from being who they actually are. Dystopia's not great, but you could hear the idea of doesn't sameness sound good, Reese?
Sounds really good.
But now that you're wearing that shirt and being forced to be the same as everyone around you, is it good?
Ugh, not good.
See, guys? Wow, what a fun lesson. A few other things. People are perceived to be under constant surveillance. So, this computer, we're watching you.
Uh-oh.
Citizens have a fear of the outside world. Reed, when's the last time you went outside?
Never. It's terrible out there.
Aw, shout out to 2020. Citizens live in a dehumanized state. I didn't tell him I was going to do that, but I can do that because this is my dystopia, and he is dehumanized, and I'm in charge. The natural world is banished and destructed. They conform to uniform expectations. Individuality and dissent are bad. Being your own person in a dystopian world is bad, right? Everyone should follow the same rules. Everyone should kind of be the same and do the same things, except for those of us in charge, because we can do whatever we want. The society is an illusion of a perfect utopian world. So, that's that last point right there. I can pretend like my utopia is good for Reed. I can say, oh, everyone in my utopia is equal, and yet, Reed, do you actually want to live in this world that I'm creating right now?
No.
No, because it's a dystopia. Fantastic. So really quickly, I'll zoom through a couple of other things. Most dystopias have different types of control. So there will be a corporation, so like a business or an entity in charge. There will be bureaucratic control, so like society will be controlled by a bureaucracy. There will be lots of rules and regulations. Technological control, that's a big one. So like a lot of times in dystopias, you will see lots of technology being used to watch people or control them. And then finally, philosophical or religious control. Which we'll talk more about later. The one that you will need to know most about for now is technological. We will talk a lot about that in the book that we are going to read. So finally, our dystopian protagonist here, the hero of our story who does not want to be living where he is. Think Katniss Everdeen or Triss from Divergent.
Mm-hmm.
That's another example. Or Reed from this wonderful lesson. Reed, how do you feel right now?
Not great.
And if you had to put it in your own words?
Trapped and, I don't know, struggling to escape?
Oh, well said, Reed.
Yeah.
Really well said. Do you have any questions about the world around you?
So many questions.
About what two things specifically?
Existing social and political systems, I'd have to say.
Wow, he is so smart sounding. I wonder if anybody else who has his DNA is that smart. Do you like the world that you're living in?
No, I really don't.
Do you believe that this is a good world that you want to be living in?
No.
Fantastic. And through Reed, I hope that what you're saying, one, I created a terrible world, right? Obviously nobody wants to wear that ugly shirt that my dad wears on the regular. And obviously nobody wants me to kick them in the chest because I say that I'm in charge. However, sometimes dystopias will be way more subtle than that. And so we, through Reed, or through the main character, will start to see the problem that this world, or that this book is trying to point out. The most important thing that I want you to know is dystopias are trying to make a statement about the world that we live in it, right? So in whatever year Hunger Games was written, 2000...
9.
No.
I don't know.
2007. The author was trying to say something about the world in that moment, right? Something that is true about humanity. And so we're going to read a book, and so we're going to see which of these elements is in it, but the big question we're going to be asking ourselves is, what is this author trying to tell us about life? And that is your introduction to dystopian stuff. Like I said earlier, oh, this is probably doing weird things. I bet I look really cute right now.
Probably.
I'm not going to cut this out. I'm so sorry, guys. Your first project is you are going to try to create a utopia. And I hope that you realize how hard it is to create a world that is actually perfect for everyone. You have a good chunk of this week's work on that with your group. There's another instruction video linked on Moodle. But this is kind of what a utopia, what a dystopia is. So again, utopia is an actually perfect world Dystopia is a world that looks like it maybe should be perfect, but actually is terrible for most of the people who live in it, except for maybe the small few who don't have control, or who do have control. So do not lose this handout, because we're going to come back to it. We're going to talk about it. You're going to write and reflect about the book that we're going to read. But that is your introduction. Do that assignment with your group. Let me know what questions you have. Thanks to Reed for being here. Don't you think he would be so pretty if he was a girl?